Hey, how's it going? I hope you're doing well. You probably clicked on this video trying to find out what's the best class to play in Starship Troopers, as well as how to play them and what loadouts to run. I'm going to do this all in one take, so I'm sorry if you can hear ASMR breathing into the mic, but let's get started. So I have played through all three classes, and I have to say, I do like the Bastion and the Operator. I think the Hunter is also really good. But what I'll do is I'll categorize what their best feats are in terms of firepower, mobility, and their overall ability to support the team, for example. So let's get started. So the Hunter essentially has a jump jet, which allows you to jump around like a jump jet, a rocket booster. This is very useful in terms of getting out of situation or moving across the map. So let's say if you want to get onto a vantage point, that would allow you to snipe targets from away. Also, you have high intensity speed training. This is very good for running. You are literally the fastest sprinter on the team. The other two classes can't compete with you. And in terms of weapons, you get 3 weapons currently in the game. There's the Morita Mark 1. This is like an assault rifle. Then there's the carbine, and then there's the Hawkeye. With this class, I would recommend to either only use the carbine or the Hawkeye. The reason why I'd say that is the carbine has a much higher stagger rate than the regular assault rifle Morita Mark 1, and this is very useful for when Arachnid Warrior is coming towards you. So you can, let's say if there's 2 or 3 of them coming at you, you can stagger the first one, move on to the second one, stagger, and let's say if you run out of ammo, you can jump jet and reload and then continue firing at the targets. Likewise with the Hawkeye, it has the best stagger of all the 3 weapons that you see here. Of course, it has less ammunition, but you can use your jump jet, get on top of a roof, and just snipe targets comfortably without any worry of danger. Only thing you got to worry about is the gunners, for example. In terms of the secondary, you always want to run this weapon right here, the Emancipator. Just the fact that it has much more stagger and the ability to stun, it's really useful for saving you and getting yourself out of trouble. In terms of utility, you should really only run the Ammo Fabricator, and the reason why I say this is so useful. Ammo is one of those currencies that you need in the game that you can run out of, and you can support your team really well. There is other stuff that you can run like the heal beacon, but I wouldn't recommend it personally. So Ammo Fabricator is what you'd run number 1. And then in terms of grenades, I would say run the napalm grenade, just for the simple fact that it provides an aerial denial for 60 seconds. So let's say if you're in a choke point and you're being surrounded, you can just pop that napalm and then turn around and fire at other targets. In terms of perks, there's only really 3 perks that run out of the 5 that you see here. So first off, I would say the magazine one, so you can get 2 extra mags with the carbine. So that'd be an extra 120 rounds that you can carry around. The next 2 that I might recommend is either the pain booster. So if you take damage, your movement speed is increased by 1.5%. That's or 1.5 times. So that would allow you to get out of a situation where you're getting hit by Arachnid Warriors and workers, for example. The other one that you could run is Bloodlust. I don't think this is as good, just for the simple fact that you're not looking to get hit and you're not looking to go into melee, because I don't know how much regeneration you regenerate from this, but if you're going into melee with bugs, you're so weak as this class that you're just going to die outright. In terms of this class alone, I would say its mobility is its biggest strength. In terms of firepower, I'd rate it the weakest ultimately, and its ability to support the team. This class is a little bit more selfish in the terms that you're not going to be carrying canisters with this class. You're not going to be healing with this class. You're just kind of playing more selfishly because you're going to be on a top of a rooftop, for example, or you're going to be using your mobility to escape a situation where your other teammates can't, for example. In terms of the Bastion, I think this might be my favorite class so far, as you can tell by how much I've leveled him up. The Bastion has heavy armor, which just gives you more sustainability. And then it also has siege mode, which is its ability. So the heavy armor allows you to take more damage overall. And in the siege mode, if you press C, which is its ability, you just have a shield that goes around you in a circle. It protects you really well. In terms of its weapons, there's only really one weapon that you really want to run, and that's the Morita Mark 3 Saw. Now, this weapon gets better the more you level up the class, and I'll explain why. The only 2 weapons you really want to use is the carbine and the saw, but the saw is like the primary one. This is what you want to run all the time, just for the simple fact that it has so much stagger on this and the damage is really good. One thing to note is it's very inaccurate when you're trying to move and shoot and you're not aiming down sight, but when you activate siege mode, you have like, it's like laser aim, and it's really, really good. Now, to note that Saw had 2 mags of 150, so you only have 300 rounds compared to other weapons like the Marita Mark 1, which has 600, and then the Carbine has 600 as well. Like I said, you always want to run the Emancipator. This will get you out of a pickle. Now, in terms of utility, I haven't really found what I want to use for a utility yet, but if I had to pick one, it would probably be the heal beacon, and I'll explain why in a second here. For grenades, cluster grenade is pretty good, or you can use the shot grenade just to slow down targets that are surrounding you in a choke point. Now, in terms of perks, there's only really 2 perks that you should be running, and I'll explain why. So that Marita Mark 3 Saw had 2 mags of 150, right? If you run this magazine perk, you get an extra mag of 150, and if you get this class to level 20, you can get extended mags for 50% increased magazine size. So that would mean you'd go from 150 round mag to 225. Times that by 3, all of a sudden you have 775 rounds to use in 3 mags. And you can just sit there continuously firing at hordes and hordes of arachnids, all staggering all of them and doing more damage and just killing a bunch of them. So one thing to do, the reason why I suggest to run a heal beacon is if you pop siege mode, right, and you're surrounded, throw the heal beacon at your feet. You're going to be continuously healing, as well as the fact that you have damage reduction due to siege mode, as well as your heavy plating. In terms of firepower, I would say this is the best class for firepower just for this Marita Mark III Saw. And once you get this class to level 20, it'll be even better with that extra 50% magazine increase. Also, the mobility is the worst out of all the 3 classes, and its ability to support the team is, I would say, in the middle. Much better than the Hunter, for example. Now, the 3rd class, this is what I played first when I first launched the game. The Operator is known for having the canister slot, so let's say if there's like ores that you need to collect, the canisters, you can actually have one on your back and use your weapon, or if you need to be in a scenario, you could have one on your back, carrying one in your hands, so you can carry 2 and your teammates can cover you. And I would say arguably the best piece of equipment or the best ability is the medical UAV. If you go down, this will revive you. And it lasts, I think, a full 3 minutes before the cooldown ends, and then you can just pop it again. It'll res teammates, it'll periodically heal you. It's really, really good. In terms of weapons, I have not yet used the grenade launcher. I would only recommend to use the grenade launcher is if you're in a scenario where if you are playing with IRL friends and they can cover you, like, so you don't want to be wasting a shot on a worker bug or just like one arachnid warrior. That's what they're going to be there for. You want to save this for hordes of enemies. The next 2 weapons I'd recommend using is, I actually really like the Hawkeye on this character, just for the simple fact of the stagger, and it does a lot of damage, as well as the Carbine on this class would work really, really well, and I'll explain why in a second. It'll work better on this class than it will on the Assault, or the Hunter, I should say. In terms of secondary, run the Emancipator, like I said. Utility, you always want to run the Ammo Fabricator. With your drone, you don't need this. I don't think it's that useful. The other stuff is, you're not going to be really using it, like the heal beacon, the Ammo Fabricator. So let's say if you're playing, you start the match and you secure the first beacon, you can pop your both your Ammo Fabricators, and by the time the bunker comes down, you can go refill and you'll get both Ammo Fabricators back as well. So having ammo with you is great all the time. For this one, I haven't decided what I really want. I like the scan grenade, but I think the napalm is more useful later on once you level it up to level 18, just for that simple fact that you can area denial. With the perks, I would recommend the same thing as the Bastion, just for the simple fact that you can use the magazine one where you can get 2 extra mags, as well as, I don't know why the Hunter doesn't have this, but you get 50% increased magazine size. So let's say if you run these 2, you could theoretically get the Carbine with 12 mags, and each mag would hold 90 rounds. So you'd get a lot of ammo, and you would never run out, especially with those Ammo Fabricators. Now, in terms of how you'd play this class, I would say that its weaponry is kind of mid overall, or maybe, I wouldn't say it's the worst. Its mobility is also mid, but its ability to support the team is the best out of all of them. Just for the simple fact that you can pop Ammo Fabricators I know the hunter can do this as well, but that drone is just so useful when you're fighting. Like, you don't even need to manually res targets anymore, or your friendlies anymore. You just pop the drone, wait close to a down teammate, and the drone will automatically res them. And the great thing is if you go down, you can res yourself, and you can. I've gone down like 5 times in a minute, and I've been resed every single time. And the fact is that you can, while you're escaping to dropship to extract, let's say if you go down a couple times, that's okay. The drone will res and you'll make it to the ship. Whereas the Bastion, I always die when I'm trying to extract unless it's very close. The Hunter, I have like a 50% success rate. So overall, I would recommend the best class is the Operator. Second place, it goes to the Bastion, and the third is the Hunter, just based on the fact of how much you can support your team. I would like to see a scenario, if you're gonna, I don't know, kind of play very seriously, you want to have as many operators as you can, a couple Bastions, and maybe like at most like 3 Hunters, just for the simple fact that they can get into like rooftops and stuff like that and provide cover support with their Hawkeyes. But the Bastion is just the fact that they can pop siege mode, and if they get to level 20 and have that Merida Mark III saw with the upgraded mags and the extra mag, they can lock down a sector completely. And you want more operators just for the simple fact that they can res people, pop ammo fabricators, as well as carry more canisters, so that way you can get more resources, build more stuff. But yeah, that's my video about what the best class is. Best class is hands down has to be the Operator. Second place is the Bastion, and last place is the Hunter, just because it's a little bit more of a selfish class. But with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Do like it if you did, and possibly sub, and you have yourselves a great day.